Welcome to the Investing Journey channel. Today we're going to discuss 11 steps to reach your financial freedom. If that's something that interests you, stick around. So financial freedom usually means having enough savings, financial investments, and cash on hand to afford the kind of life we desire for our families and ourselves. It means growing savings that enable us to retire or pursue the career we want without being driven by earning a set salary each year. Well, that's great and all, but how do you actually become financially free? To become financially free, there are 3 criteria you must meet. You must pay off your consumer debts, build a safety net of savings funds, and create enough passive income through investing or business ownership to pay for your current and expected future living expenses. We are burdened with an increasing debt, monetary emergencies, excessive consumer spending, and other problems that keep us from reaching our most meaningful financial objectives. These challenges confront everybody, but the following 11 habits can put you on the ideal path to financial freedom. Remember, there are no guaranteed shortcuts or get-rich-quick methods to reach financial freedom, but following these steps will set you up to reach your goals. Step 1 is life goals. Jot down how much money, assets, and income you need to pay for the lifestyle you want. Include the year when you want to achieve your goals and whether or for how long you will need to pay for those goals. The more specific your objectives, the more likely you are to make them a reality. Then count backward to your present age and establish financial mileposts at regular intervals. These might include certain dollar amounts saved or assets acquired. Reaching these smaller goals will give you encouragement that your ultimate goal is not only possible, but slowly and surely becoming a reality. If you want to keep everything neat and organized, there are plenty of free forms online to do so. Step 2 is budget. Now for this step, we are really going to dive into details, and I promise you, we will get back to the steps toward financial freedom, but this step is so important. Now, as annoying as this step is, it is a must if you really want to obtain financial freedom. Making a month-to-month household spending plan and adhering to it is an important method to guarantee all bills are paid while investments and independent income building are on track. Budgeting your money routinely clarifies your objectives and bolsters your willpower rather than letting yourself fall before the temptation to spend lavishly. Charge cards and high-interest consumer loans present hazards to your wealth building. Now, in order to create your budget, you have to record expenses. So what you're going to do is estimate your spending for the coming month, including fixed and variable expenses, and keep in mind infrequent items such as oil changes or getting new glasses. Then record earnings. For this, you will estimate your net income for the month. List each expected source of money you may receive. Once you do this, then you need to fix weak spots. Adjust your planned spending or consider additional income as necessary. Set goals on how to bring these weak points under control. Find subscriptions or small spending habits that add up and are not totally necessary. I'm not saying to deprive yourself of any pleasure, but you would be surprised what you can cut back on that really adds up per week or month. There are a number of reasons why many of us do not create or live by a budget. Many of these reasons are based on false assumptions or myths. The following are a few such myths and their corresponding realities that may help us overcome our own resistance to budgeting. Myth number 1. If I had more money, all of my problems would be solved. Reality. Actually, spending less than I earn may solve many of my money problems. Myth number 2. Budgeting is for people who are in debt. The reality, budgets are for anyone seeking to stabilize their finances and avoid debt. Myth number 3, if I balance my checkbook, that's as good as budgeting. Reality, the checkbook can help me prepare for unexpected expenses like car repairs or doctor's visits. Budgets can. Myth number 4, following a budget inhibits my freedom of choice. Reality, following a budget increases the likelihood that I'll take care of my financial priorities first, such as housing, food, savings, and transportation. If you identify with one or more of the myths that I just said, then make a personal decision to implement the realities into your thoughts. If you still have difficulties budgeting, remember this. If you don't control your money, it will control you. If you live within your budget, you will be much more likely to avoid excessive debt, build emergency and long-term savings accounts, take care of financial priorities such as housing, food, and transportation, rather than a disproportionate spending on entertainment and dining out. Establish regular investing habits in preparation for retirement, feel in control of your finances, understanding your personal spending habits and eliminate wasteful expenditures, be in a position to take advantage of financial opportunities, whether it's for something on sale at the store or a chance to greatly improve your investment portfolio. Prevent many of the arguments spouses have with regards to spending and finances. Make more than monthly minimum payments to credit accounts, including credit cards, mortgage, and auto loans. Remember, just because a bill arrives in your inbox on the first of the month does not mean you should pay it before your other bills arrive later. That seems like a simple statement, but many consumers justify going to a local food bank at the end of the month because, although they don't connect it, they spend their fourth week of the grocery money on their $500 car payment earlier in the month. Literally, such households have prioritized their new car over putting food on the table, even if they've not made the connection in their minds. Your top priority expenses, those you make sure to pay before affording any others, include just 3 or 4. First, ensure you have covered your need for shelter and security. This typically involves paying your rent or mortgage and your electricity, water, sewer, and trash bills. Including housing as a survival need does not, however, justify purchasing a home or leasing an apartment that exceeds your reasonable ability to pay for it. Next, you need to afford food, whether fresh groceries or canned goods. This does not include dining out, which comes under your lifestyle choices. You will need a minimal amount of clothing as well for survival. Survival clothing includes protective items like coats, basic coverings, and footwear. Purchasing multiple outfits and pairs of shoes or buying for fashion will also come under lifestyle choices. You should also include contributions to an emergency savings fund under your survival needs. You may not need these funds now, but you will likely need them in the future to pay for your future survival needs, such as times during unemployment or extended illness. When budgeting your income and expenses, make sure to prioritize your critical wants below your survival needs, but above your lifestyle choices. Like the case of housing under survival needs, calling a vehicle a critical want does not justify getting into a loan you can hardly afford or which exceeds your ability to pay. Lifestyle choices become obvious in the daily activities you get to choose, including dining out, stopping at the gourmet coffee shop, paying for a movie, sports, or other media streaming service, purchasing fashion and lifestyle clothing, and subscribing to music or delivery services. Doing without lifestyle expenses means you feel a distinct difference in your daily activities. Cutting out those expenses from your budget will have a noticeable effect on your daily routine, which explains why so many consumers push back when it comes to cutting back on such spending. By prioritizing your spending, especially before you have added your income, you have essentially told yourself which purchases and expenses are more important and which are expendable. Consequently, should the need arise, you have built a rational structure that will allow you to eliminate household expenses without the complications arising from emotionally driven choices. Even with the best of budgets, you will frequently experience months where your expenses amount to more than your income. In such cases, particularly early on before you have built a savings fund, you may need to eliminate some of your spending. Start by getting rid of the spending on your long-term wishes, if only temporarily. If that still does not cover your cash shortfall, begin eliminating your trivial wants. Some months, you may have to downsize some or even many of your lifestyle choices. If you find you regularly eliminate your lifestyle choices or even a few critical wants in order to balance your budget, you have likely obligated yourself to a housing choice too great for your income, to an unaffordable vehicle payment or cell phone devices and services that exceed your ability to pay. If such is the case, you may need to consider downsizing activities or revisiting contracts. For example, while you may not have the ability to leave an apartment lease or sell a home, you might have to consider subleasing a bedroom or taking on a roommate. Now that we're done with budgeting, let's move on to step 3. Pay your dues and debts. Student loans, mortgages, and similar loans usually have a much lower rate of interest than credit cards and retail store cards, making them less dangerous to your finances. With credit cards, you might end up amassing thousands of dollars of high-interest debts. Drowning in debt for years is the complete opposite of independence. Debt, after all, insinuates obligation and even bondage, both of which clearly counter the idea of financial freedom, meaning they not only cause added stress with interest, but they really hold us back. Step 4 is to save. Pay yourself first. That is a standard recommendation from financial experts. Register for your employer's retirement plan and make full usage of any matching contribution benefit. It is likewise an excellent idea to have an automated deposit from your employer into an emergency fund, or an automated transfer from your checking that can be tapped for unanticipated expenditures. Additionally, consider an automated contribution to a brokerage for an individual retirement account or an IRA. Regardless, keep in mind that the suggested quantity to save is widely debated, and the suitability of such a fund is sometimes even in question given certain circumstances. Step 5 is to invest. There is nothing much better and no more tried and true way to grow your cash than through investing. Whether you choose a 401k or an IRA, especially a Roth IRA that I explain in a detailed video on my channel. Now is the time to do your research and decide which direction you will start. But start. That is the most important step. Investing can make your hard-earned dollars work for you. If you Google investment calculator, you can play around with the numbers to see how much you will have in retirement if you invest a certain amount. My recommendation, although not financial advice and only my opinion, is to invest in low-cost index funds that typically gain 7 to 10% on average per year. For more on this, watch my video on the Roth IRA or the 3-fund lazy portfolio. Step 6 is to monitor your credit. A person's credit report influences any interest rate related to car, truck, or home loans or refinances, as well as credit cards and store cards. It likewise impacts unrelated things, such as car insurance and life insurance premiums. The line of reasoning is that someone who is reckless in their financial routines might also be careless in other areas of life, such as driving and consuming. The reality is that, as a group, individuals with lower credit ratings get into more accidents and submit larger claims to their insurance companies than individuals with higher credit ratings. This does not mean someone with poor credit is a bad driver, just as a male who is 23 years old and not married is not a poor driver. However, he will pay higher monthly premiums because he is young, single, and male. Poor credit is just one of many risk pools insurance companies use when determining your monthly premium. Step 7 is one that could really cut expenses if done right. Bargaining. Many Americans are reluctant to negotiate for purchases and services, believing it makes them appear cheap. Many from other countries would recommend Americans conquer this cultural handicap. You might save thousands of dollars each year. Smaller merchants in particular tend to be open for negotiation. Purchasing in bulk or when with repeated transactions can open the door to good discounts. Step 8 is to take care of your things. Taking good care of your home and your possessions makes everything from automobiles and lawnmowers to shoes and clothing last longer. Imagine if you did not have to buy clothing and shoes as often as you do. You could hold on to your car longer, spending less in the process. Maintenance is the key to saving money. Step 9 is to live below your means. Mastering a frugal way of life by having a mindset of living life to the maximum with less is not as difficult as it might seem. Many wealthy individuals lived frugally below earning their abundance. Frugality is not an obstacle or the adoption of a minimalist approach to life, nor is it a call to dumpster diving or to extreme hoarding. Frugality is a wise purchase of important items and the responsible stewardship of such possessions. Step 10 is to get expert advice. Even if you are not yet at a point where you have begun amassing wealth, getting expert financial advice to educate yourself and help good choices will help you prevent problems. From nonprofit credit counseling agencies to your local county extension specialist to accredited financial counselors, there are plenty of reliable experts available to help you at no cost or minimal fees. If you can find a mentor who will help show you how they are on a good path, that would be good too. Step 11, the final step, is to stay healthy. Some companies offer limited sick days, so it is a noteworthy loss of income once those days are used up. Weight problems and ailments lead to skyrocketing insurance premiums, and poor health may require earlier retirement with lower monthly benefits. Taking care of your health will not solve all your cash problems, but it will assist you in developing practical habits that can get you on the course toward financial freedom. Ask yourself if you are doing everything that we talked about now. Then ask if you have the ability to do everything now. Chances are your answers will be no, then yes. Your likelihood of achieving financial freedom increases dramatically if you can save money, control your credit, and minimize your debt. You will be better able to provide for your family and yourself, not to mention the awesome feeling of being debt-free. I gave you a lot to think about in this video, but hopefully it gave you some good advice to think about and to change your life in order to achieve financial freedom. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share this channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, guys, and good luck.